Hi, this is Quinn, and welcome to Quintech. So in this video, I know it's called Quintech Retro, but I did a previous toy video, and this is another toy video. I've been a collector of the G.I. Joe toys from the 1980s, the 3.5-inch little action figures. And I had some back when I was a kid, and I lost them. And then in the 90's, I started collecting them again, and I gathered quite a few, and I'm showing them off tonight to you. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's a walk down memory lane. My nostalgia meter is on 100%. And I hope you enjoy walking down memory lane with me tonight. So, on this video, I should have done a lot more research. I know all these characters have a backstory and a name and all this and that and the other. I didn't go research what every character was. I just wanted to show off the toys that I own. So, like I say, most of them I collected in the 90's when I was up in Albuquerque. There were like I think there were like two vintage toy stores in Albuquerque that I bought most of these at. And then when I moved here to Charlotte, North Carolina, there were like two vintage toy stores here that I used to frequent, and I bought a few items here in Charlotte as well. And one of the items I bought in the original video, I said I bought it in Albuquerque, but thinking back, I think maybe I bought it here in Charlotte. I bought the actual little collector's box, and I still have that, and I have all my little figures in there. And most serious collectors, they'll have to have every single original little accessory that came with every figure or whatever. I probably have most of the original accessories. They're just not with. I have a lot of little spare little accessories spread throughout this little case. But I hope you enjoy this video. It's just me kind of gushing about how I love this toy series. Even the TV series, like looking back, the TV series was kind of cheesy. They had this big thing called, it was like a public service announcement at the end. It was called, "And Now You Know." And then there was this guy in the early 2000's that created all these like spoof videos based on "And Now You Know." And you can go back and look at those. I forget what they were called, but he took like the original footage and like changed the voiceovers and like made it into kind of a joke. And some of them might be a little bit off color, but I like that kind of humor anyway. So thank you for coming along on my latest video for Quintech Retro, and I hope you enjoy it. Like I say, I'm just showing off a bunch of toys, so it's nothing spectacular. But if you're into this kind of stuff, or if you're into anything vintage, this is definitely vintage. It's like 80's and 90's vintage. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you like it enough, go ahead and press that bell icon. I never press the bell icon on anybody. I don't want to be notified when some new video from some random YouTuber comes out. It's annoying to me, but if you enjoy my content enough, go ahead and press that bell icon. Anyway, thank you again for coming along on my journey, Because that's what every video that I produce is a journey. It's a journey back in time. Most of the time, it's a journey back in time, a nostalgia trip. And thank you for coming along. And I hope you enjoy being my companion on this nostalgia journey. So, I appreciate you, and take care. And without further ado, let's move along with my latest video. Alright. Take care. Hey guys, this is Quinn from Quintech Retro. And, well, this actual video is going to have nothing to do with technology, but it will have to do with nostalgia. I used to love the G.I. Joe TV series in the 80s and the toys. I think they're 3.5 inches tall, and they're compared to the Star Wars figures of the 70s and 80s, they were much more dynamic. They had, you could bend their knees and their elbows, and they had the kung fu grip, they called it, and they had all these little accessories that came with. I guess the Star Wars figures also came with accessories, but I had some in the 80s. They weren't from the first batch. They were from like the second or third batch of toys that came out. And I lost all those. They were left in storage at a friend's house for many years, along with all my Star Wars stuff. And when their kids got a little bit older, I guess they got into those boxes and they played with them, so I don't have those anymore. But I'm not mad about that. I'm glad those other kids got to have fun with them. So anyway, I started recollecting them in around the mid-90s when I was living in Albuquerque. And most of these are from Albuquerque, but I did still collect some when I moved here to Charlotte in 1999. There were a couple of vintage toy stores that still carried vintage toys from the 80s and 90s. I mean, G.I. Joe, they kept making new toys throughout the night, and they might still make them. I haven't been to a toy store, I don't remember how long, but they may still make these. But most of these are original toys from the 80s and some from the 90s. Some might be recreation ones from the mid-90s, mid to late 90s, but most of them are original. So I got this collector's case. Holds 24 G.I. Joe figures and accessories. And this, as you can see, it was officially licensed by Hasbro, but this other company, Tara Toy Corporation, from Glendale, New York, back in 1984, they came out with this collector's box. So, I got this at a toy store in Albuquerque after I started collecting them, and then I saw this box in that toy store. I was like, gotta have it. I don't know how much it cost me then, maybe 20, 25 bucks. I don't know the prices on this stuff I paid for this, but it's almost like a little briefcase. It's got a little handle, you can carry it, and then it has a little scene on the back. The G.I. Joe collection case holds 24 G.I. Joe figures and accessories. Well, I'm holding way more than 24 in here because I stack them 2 to 3 deep. So I guess if you use each little slot for one figure, it would only hold 24 figures. But I went a little overboard. So, this is my collection. And I do have, this is from the 90's Power of the Force collection, Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker. This is before Special Edition came out. They had this Power of the Force series. So I guess I just threw this in. And I think this Stormtrooper is also from that series. So I threw a couple of extra things in here that were not G.I. Joes. But most of the stuff I have in here are G.I. Joes. And I should have researched this a little better. I may not remember every character's name. There's so many characters. Maybe you can put it in the comments if you know who these characters are. But I'll tell you what. This was... And look how floppy... Oh, he just broke. Actually, this is not the original Snake Eyes. This is the original Snake Eyes was the same mold. The same mold. But he was all black. And I think I actually have that one. I have several versions of Snake Eyes. A lot of these are falling apart like this, and what that is they were held together by these little rubber O-rings that you can go to a hardware store and buy them. They use them to seal plumbing connections or something. And I did that several years ago. I even have a bunch of them. But it's been so long, those are probably starting to deteriorate as well. See, I have a few left here. And I bet these are about to fall apart. I bought these to repair all my broken G.I. Joes. So, okay, here he is. Actually, I have two. I think this is the very first Snake Eyes. And his knees are all worn out. And there are ways you can take clear nail polish and just dab a little bit there, and it'll make their knees a little bit more not so floppy like a marionette leg. It'll be more stiff. So if you go like that, his leg will stay like that. Well, it's doing it anyway, but it wouldn't flop around like that. So I have this. I'm pretty sure. Let's look. They have the dates on the back of them. I think. Oh, on their butt. It's hard to see. I don't think you can see that on camera. Let me see if I can look at it under the light here. I probably need like a little magnifying glass or something to see that. I can't quite see that, unfortunately. But then I have another. This might have been the next year. It's basically the same model. This one still has more stiff legs. He's not like a marionette. He has stiff legs, stiff knees. And the other thing, they can move their elbows. You can pose them all cool. They came with these little, like a little stand. And they have like a little hole in the bottom of their foot. And Star Wars characters had these little holes in the bottom of their feet too, but in these reproduction Power of the Force, they're a little bit skinnier than a G.I. Joe. I guess so you couldn't use G.I. Joe stuff with... They had to keep them separate, because G.I. Joe was... Mattel, I think? No, G.I. Joe was Hasbro, and Star Wars was Kenner. So they were competing toy companies. But they have these little stands. They have these little stands, and you could, if you balance it right, you could stand up, you could pose them. They all had little accessories. And that's another problem with my collection. I haven't kept them, like, there are certain specific accessories that go with specific characters. Wow, I have a lot of broken characters. I need to buy some more of these O-rings to fix them. But, some of my more interesting ones, I'm pretty sure this is an original. I think his name was Snow Job. And he came with this backpack that it plugs in, and they have a hole in their back, and that's also the screw hole that holds them together. You put the backpack on him, and he's got the skis, but then you can pull the skis off. I don't want to break anything. And he's got the ski poles too. There's the ski poles. There's the skis. There comes one. There comes the other. So then you can put the skis on his feet. And I know he looks like a marionette, because he needs some work. But I think he's from either the first or the second series of G.I. Joe. So you can put the skis on him. Apparently he can only do the fast downhill race, because he can't stand up. And he's got the ski poles. And those fit into his little backpack. And the ski poles, you know, they go in, you can put them in his hand, or you can just loop them like that. But he can go whoosh, he can go. So, as a little kid, you could have a lot of playtime, imagination playtime. And they had all this extra gear that went with them that made it so much more interesting. So that's why I love them so much. So, like I say, he has this backpack that holds his skis. And then the skis and the backpack goes in his little hole there. Oh, shoot. I don't want to lose his ski pole. So that's the character with his backpack, and he's got his skis and ski poles already there. And he had some kind of gun. I don't know what his gun was. They do have a website. Well, I haven't looked recently, but he used to have a website there used to be a website years ago that was dedicated to G.I. Joe toys, that you could figure out what the exact accessory that went with each character. It didn't show you what the going price was. I guess you still have to do that on eBay. But that's Snow Job with backpack. I don't really remember a lot of these characters. Oh, this is... Okay, he's broken, but... This is Duke. He was like, in the cartoon, he was the leader of the G.I. Joe team. Apparently in the comic, his brother was the leader of the G.I. Joe team. I watched a video recently that talked about it. So I have Duke. I have so many. I have like 4 different versions of... Here's a newer, this is like a 90's, I think, edition of Snake Eyes. They're still using almost the same mold. And he's got a little Uzi. And there's a backpack with all his, like, ninja little equipment. And this guy, I don't remember his name. I think he's a Joe. Most of my toys are Joes, but I do have a few Cobras. I got this Cobra guy. I think he was from the third round, still from the 80's. I think this might be another Snake Eyes, the camouflage Snake Eyes, or at least he uses the same form. This guy, he used a flamethrower and blew up a bunch of stuff with his flamethrower. Okay, another, along with Snake Eyes, his brother or his partner or whatever was Storm Shadow. I have an original Storm Shadow. He's starting to try to... His bottom half, well, most of them is getting discolored. So, he could probably use what they call a retro bright. But I don't think I'm going to do that. This is like a recreation from the 90's. It's the same mold. They used the same mold, but they colored it different. They gave him sort of a kind of a camouflage. But he's the same shape. This is Storm Shadow from the 90's. I've got what was his name? Eagle or something like that, or he was the Native American, and he has one of his accessories is this eagle that can land on his hand. I don't want to break his hand, or I don't want to break his thumb off. It might be kind of brittle, but he came with this accessory and some other things. I don't think he had a tomahawk. That would be a little racist, but I got, oh, and he's in pieces, the original, oops, he's the original Cobra Commander with the long face mask, and then later he got sort of a silver mask. Who else do I have? Oh, there aren't that many female characters. This is Lady J. I have her. I only have 2 female characters. I have Lady J. And I think her name was Scarlet. She was obviously a Cobra. She was a bad girl. And she came with this kind of cloth cape. This is the only toy I have that has a cloth cape with it. I've got... Who else do I have? See, I wish I remembered most of these people's names, but I have a lot of original characters. I've got him. This video would be much better if I could actually tell you who these people were. But maybe if you watch this, you can post in the comments, oh, he's got this guy, he's got that guy. I can't believe those are still around. And yes, I still have them. I've got, again, I think this is another version of Duke's brother. He actually, I think, he was the head of G.I. Joe in the comics, but in the TV show, for some reason, they made Duke the commander, but I think they were brothers, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. Oh, and then you got this character. He was the amphibious. He was a scuba diver. I'm pretty sure I have both of his scuba fins. There's one of them. Pretty sure I have the other one here somewhere. Oh, here's a newer version of one of the only black characters in the entire... I could be wrong. Maybe these are not the same character, but I think they might be. I think they're two different iterations of the same character. And I don't remember his name either. So I'm kind of sucking at this video, but I hope you're still enjoying it anyway. I've got this guy. He's got hair. He's like some kind of samurai Cobra guy. I don't know what his name is either. I think this is another version. I just showed him. I think this is another version of this. No. This is somebody else. I should have looked this up before I did this video. Maybe I'll go back and do another one. Then I got the Kung Fu guy. Back in the 90s, I was like way into like Asian cinema. Mostly samurai cinema, but also Kung Fu cinema. I have all these broken... I don't know if that's Snake Eyes or not, but that's... He's got some kind of... It looks like a speaker on his chest. I don't know who he is. And here's another Snake Eyes. Another iteration of Snake Eyes. This one might be from the 90s. Kind of using the same mold, but he's painted. I got this guy. I don't know any of these people's names. I suck at this. Sorry. Did I already show him? Maybe I did. I don't know. Got this guy. Oh, he's a Cobra. So no, I haven't shown him yet. He's some kind of other Cobra, kind of ninja character. I've got another snow dude. This might be an earlier version of the one I showed earlier. Or no, they look way different. But maybe this is an update of this same character. But he's got a ginger beard and he's clean shaven. I don't know if they're the same character or not. And then even another iteration of Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes was like the most popular character of the entire series. As far as I know, he was my favorite. I mean, he's a ninja. He's a black ninja. And what did they have in the 80s? Ninjas. This one I'm pretty sure is from the 90s. He's still real stiff. But he's obviously some kind of Cobra trooper of some sort. I don't know who this guy is. He's falling apart. He's got his little red goggles. Well, I can't keep them together, but that's what he looks like. Did I already show this guy? I don't know if I showed this guy or not. He's kind of cool looking. Have I shown everyone? I thought I had a Destro. What happened to my Destro? Well, he's not here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to show off what I have. Oh, I don't think I showed this guy. He's got a green beret. Or a black beret. And this is kind of a 90s with the silver paint. It's probably from the 90s or late 80s. I'm pretty sure this is not from the original. And is there anyone else I missed? If there is, well, I guess you're just not going to see them in this video. Because I got to pack everything back up so it doesn't go astray, go missing. I'll put my 2 Star Wars figures back in here before they go missing. This thing is kind of falling apart. I mean, it's some really thin plastic. It's licensed by Hasbro, but made by this other company, whatever it was called. Maybe there. That worked. Put him there. And I don't want it to bulge. What's going on here? Gotta make this work somehow. Without ruining anything. Goes there. And even my storm shadows go down here. Alright. And then Luke, Return of the Jedi Luke, can go there. So he doesn't bulge. And there we go. We're ready to go play at our friend's house back in 1984. Real American Hero. G.I. Joe! A real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe! Alright. I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks for coming back. To Quintech Retro. Alright. Have a good night. Take care.